Today's IJS, I'm going to be reading from Morris Venden's book, The 95 Theses. Some legalists are black legalists and some are red legalists. As we have already noticed, a legalist is one who thinks to learn salvation by keeping the law or in any other way apart from Christ. A black legalist then is one with a black suit and a black tie, black shoes, and black socks. He is the one with the long face. He is the conservative legalist who finds his security in the church standards that he upholds. But he is a legalist, for he has no time for personal fellowship and acquaintance with the Lord Jesus, although he may spend a lot of time studying doctrine and standards and ethics. A red legalist is one who wears the jewelry, goes to the movies, and perhaps has a glass of wine now and then. The analogy comes from the description in Revelation 17 of the woman on the scarlet beast. She was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Verse 4. This is only an analogy to make a point. It is not new prophetic truth on the mysteries of the book of Revelation. The red legalist then is the liberal legalist who finds security in the church standards that he has abandoned. The red legalist considers the black legalist to be a legalist, but often fails to realize that he himself or she herself is simply a legalist of a different color. For it makes no difference whether you are liberal or conservative if you have no time to spend in personal relationship and communion with Christ. You are not a Christian. Sometimes parents ask, but isn't it better to be a legalist than to be an open sinner? If we can teach our children to obey the law of God externally, won't that finally lead to the religion of the heart? It didn't for the Pharisees. They were the hardest of all for Christ to reach when he was here on this earth. The converts that they brought into the church were not only as legalists as their teachers, but Jesus said in Matthew 23:15 that they were twofold more the children of hell than the Pharisees themselves. A legal religion never leads to Christ. It is impossible to gain salvation by keeping the law. He who is trying to reach heaven by his own works in keeping the law is attempting an impossibility. Therefore, by the deeds of the law there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. Why emphasize the law then, if keeping the law cannot save us? Why talk about it or study it at all, if our efforts of keeping the law can actually prevent us from coming to Christ for salvation? Wouldn't it be better not to hear about the law at all? The law has several important and legitimate functions. The law cannot save us, but it can show us our need of salvation. The law cannot change us, but it can show us our need of change. Paul describes the law as a schoolmaster to bring us to Christ in Galatians 3:24 and 25. And James' book calls the law a looking glass, James 1:23 through 25. A mirror can show us our need of cleansing, but it cannot cleanse us. So it is with the law of God. It shows us our sinful condition in order to motivate us to go to Christ for cleansing and restoration. The law can diagnose, but it cannot treat or cure the disease. The law condemns, and when we recognize our condemnation, we realize our need for pardon. The law reveals the curse that we are under as lawbreakers, and thereby prepares us to accept the good news that Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. See Galatians 3:13. And the law is a protector. The law protects the innocent. It also protects the guilty. When we come before the judgment seat, we know clearly whether we are at fault. We don't have to worry that God will play favorites or judge according to his temporary whim of fancy. He has stated clearly his requirements, and thus both innocent and guilty can know where they stand. Those who have accepted the righteousness of Christ in place of their own unrighteousness can stand acquitted, protected by the law that does not condemn them. The guilty will see clearly their own rejection of God's grace and will know that they have been fairly tried. I'm just sharing.